So Maquette is a new first-person puzzle game from Grateful Decay and published by Annapurna Interactive. It puts you in a world where you can manipulate the environment around you while an emotive conversation narrates the action. This is a surreal, often dreamlike game that blends together puzzles and narrative in an emotional experience. So you start out in Maquette in a vibrant world that feels very similar to something like Alice in Wonderland. The world is mysterious, the colours, they're bright and vibrant, and you can affect the environment in interesting ways by picking up and touching a small version of the world you're exploring at the same time. The first time you pick up the big red block and drop it down, only to turn around and see a huge red block in your world drop out the sky, it is an amazing feeling. Well, the story in Maquette is about a meeting between two artists in San Francisco, and the story is delivered through animated sequences with the two characters giving a voiceover. And the two voiceover artists for the main characters are real-life husband and wife, and you can really feel the chemistry in the game. We start out when the characters first meet in a coffee shop. She spills her coffee on the man's sketchbook, and they realise they both have a love for drawing, and the conversation starts with him showing her his journal. Well, the gameplay in Maquette is from the first-person view, navigating a 3D world trying to solve puzzles. The environments, they're bright and they're vibrant, they're interesting, and the puzzles aren't too tricky, and often involve manipulating a smaller version of the world that you're walking around in. It's an interesting interaction. You can pick something up in the big world and place it in a new location, and that is reflected in the smaller world. The same goes for the small world to the big, and this is the way you can navigate around the environment. For example, early on in the game you need to cross a gap, but you can't get across. There's a tiny bridge found in the small display, and you can move this around to the gap, and there in the big world you can cross over the bridge safely. And as you progress through the game, the puzzles iterate on this fairly simple concept. For example, you start in the first world by interacting with a diorama that manipulates the world that you're standing in, and later on you do wonder if you're standing in a diorama itself, and perhaps someone is interacting with the world that you're standing in. And it's all really trippy and fever dream-esque. Maquette is an emotional journey as well as a first-person puzzle game. This is what you'd expect from an Annapurna Interactive game, and they do set a high bar for quality. This is a story of a relationship, the happy beginnings, and then things start to get a little bit shaky, and then finally the arguments leading to the end. And this is reflected in Maquette with the happy, fantastical beginnings literally implemented in the world that you stand in, and then the world shifts and evolves through to reflect the emotional state of the lover narrators. The two main characters, Kenzie and Michael, they meet, they move in together, they start their own personal story. It's a normal coming together of two people in a very realistic portrayal of a budding relationship in the real world. It's all really normal, which is both good and bad in terms of a game. It is actually a reflection of the game as a whole. It's fine, but nothing spectacular happens, and things move along at a reasonable pace. We don't get to see Kenzie or Michael in the game. They're only represented through the voice work. As well as the cutscenes, we also get the narrative text. As well as the cutscenes, we also get the narrative text written in the game on the walls, the floors, and on objects, giving you a little bit more context. There are cutscenes, but they are very few and far between. We don't know if we're playing as Kenzie or Michael in the game. It would have been nice to get a little bit more story, because what we see is actually really, really good. Puzzles in the game are fine, reasonably engaging, but I find myself drawn into the story much more than the puzzles, which is a shame, because the ratio of puzzles to the narrative is very weighted to the puzzles. The concept appears to be quite popular at the moment too, with another title, Superliminal, exploring a similar concept. The game was released via PS Plus on PlayStation, and it's good to get the game for free. I enjoyed my time with Maquette, but I did find it didn't really hold my attention. It is an absolutely fine game, and I do believe it's the first game from Grateful Decay. The graphics are really good, the narrative, I'd say they're probably the best elements of the game, and the audio work is great too, and they really work with the visuals, but I didn't find myself invested as much as I wanted to be. Thinking of other recent Annapurna Interactive games like If Found, for example, I found that much more engaging, and it could hold my attention. But if you like puzzle games and you're a fan of Annapurna Interactive, I definitely think it's worth picking up, especially if you've got access to PlayStation Plus. So it's going to be available during March for free, and it's a neat little game to try out. It's not on Xbox Game Pass at the moment, but this is the perfect type of game that would appear on that service. If you don't have PlayStation, it's also available on PC too. Well, the game was developed by Grateful Decay, it's published by Annapurna Interactive, it's available on PC and PlayStation, and I reviewed the game on PS5, and it was originally released on the 2nd of March 2021. Well, that is it for my review of Maquette, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again. See you soon.
So, I'm getting coffee. I'm getting ready to leave. There's this guy. You're just staring at your sketchbook.
Oh, God, that's embarrassing.
Is this some kind of castle thing?
I don't know. I haven't drawn in a long time. I used to draw all the time.
Me too. I'm Kenzie.
I'm Michael.
We should start a drawing club.
Yeah, of course. Why are you talking to me anyway?
I'm bored. I'm waiting for my coffee, and I'm flirting with you.
So close, you might scare me away. But oh, there's no